So my role is VP of Research and Product Innovation in Slash Data, in which is quite recent. Before that, I was Senior Director of Research. And what I do in a nutshell is that I'm responsible for designing our research, finding new ways to go forward, basically moving our research and our data products in the next level. Slash Data, we are the analysts of the developer economy. What we do is that we run developer surveys twice per year. The aim is to understand developers end to end, so where they're coming from, what their motivations, their backgrounds, and then what they're building and what for, so what technologies they use, how happy they are with those, so what choices they make and where they go next. We survey around 30,000 developers annually. We've run 22 waves of surveys so far. We cover 11 development areas, and that's on purpose, and that's my fault because we believe that we know based on our data actually that developers are active in multiple development areas simultaneously. So for example, they have their backend on the cloud, obviously, and then their front end can be mobile, can be desktop, can be web, and they can have an ML API to go with that. So to track and understand their choices, you have to know all the areas in which they're involved. So that's what we do. We have a global sample. We reach more than 160 countries, and we do that through a wide network of partners. We research the API ecosystem. So developers who are into APIs, what type of APIs they use, what they use it for. So on the part of technology tracking, we also track APIs. And then, however, our role is to more understand it's a people approach, to understand the person behind the technology and therefore forecast, predict technology choices, how the ecosystem will evolve, what has a future versus not, and what choices they will make, how these choices are expected to change given what they're trying to do. So my involvement in the API is not on the technical level. Our main business has to do with understanding API developers. I would say I'm known for adding value. My niche right now is developer research, but every time in every role I ever had was, I suppose, what I was doing was niche, right? So I advocated doing segmentation, and I built even something that resembled a recommendation system when that even was not a term back then. We then, went into segmenting the developer ecosystem, created personas. Back then, again, we were pioneers in that, and so on. And now we're moving into the next level. So I'm really known for architecting research, designing our research, being able to dive from the detail to the bird's eye view, and structuring a solution. So I would say a significant factor here is the developers themselves as a game changer, as a decision maker, as the network advocating technology of the key vendors. So we have a view about how to approach that. And that's exactly what we do. So basically our business is to support the developer-facing organizations and help them on how to reach developers, what to tell them, what changes to make in their technology offerings. So we are a research company, therefore we have research publications. We have several research reports that we publish quite frequently. There's a subscription model that goes with that. We have also developed dashboards back in, 2015, I think it was. I came with the idea of the data board back then. Now these are dashboards. And through that, we give interactive dashboards. We give data and the ability to people to drill down for their specific developer audiences across regions or levels of expertise or whatever. So these are the main products that we have. But then we also have our own community, DevRelX community, where we provide the background and the platform, let's say, for DevRel practitioners to come in, because basically that's what it's all about here. It's supporting all the DevRel practitioners and dev marketing practitioners in their work, in sizing their market, understanding even if it's worth investing into DevRel, how much, and so on. So we have a community. There is a book that goes with us. There are events that we organize. Of course, podcasts. We have a dedicated podcast for DevRel, conference presentations also, and so on. So there are multiple ways in which are consulting those out there. Our source of research, let's say, is developers themselves, all the experiences they share with us. But obviously, we also track all the market trends. We also collaborate with other big vendors out there like Stack Overflow, and using APIs. Even we understand what's happening out there, how many repos, for example, people have, and therefore combine that with our survey data to arrive to population sizing estimations, for example. Basically, in a nutshell, our data, but also other vendors' data, the market out there. There's a lot of desk research that goes into what we do to make sure we're not missing any of the players, for example, in our tool lists that we have in our surveys. So one thing I always insist on, even with our clients, is to ask the right questions. So before anyone starts drilling into the data, before you even start thinking about collecting data, it is very important to ask the right questions. So I really hope that I would love it if people would just pause and make sure they do ask the right questions before seeking answers. The other thing is understanding the people behind the technology. So it's really about understanding motivations, needs, other than labeling people as a mobile developer, say, or JavaScript developer, even worse. They need to understand there's diversity in the developer population, therefore segmentation is very important. And it's also very important to get a full 360-degree view of the activities. So not just, as I said, JavaScript developers, but everything that they do so that they fully understand it. So understanding people, asking the right questions, taking data-backed decisions, not opinions. So for example, we also run a small survey to DevRel practitioners, asking them, how do you estimate the value of each onboarded developer? And most of them is like, anecdotal evidence or opinions or just estimations. We are developing a data-based approach to estimate the developer lifetime value, for example. And last but not least, I wish people would, take a time to design, good structure for the research strategy, not taking bits and pieces left and right, but actually taking a full view of the research they want to do and architect the right approach, the whole structure, and taking the right resources in every case, the correct surveys, for example, or other sources, depending on what they're trying to do. I think looking back, what played a key role for me, especially at the onset of my career, was having as managers and leaders people who gave the direction, had a vision, but giving the space to grow and create within my role, of course, but still, and that way I could design, I could try things. I try and learn, sometimes fail, of course, learn from your mistakes, understand, for example, that business people don't understand everything that we tech geeks have to say, right? How to communicate. Being given the room and the right level of direction and the vision was really what I took. For example, at some point in an organization that was just vertical, let's say, or just product oriented, someone came and said, no, we'll also add a customer layer and we'll do a segmentation. We'll take a segmentation approach to dealing with our customers. And that was it. I took it from there. We took it from there, my manager, my director, and so on. And we created based on that. So that gave us all the room, each in our own level, to grow. Through this experience, I learned to communicate efficiently, to ask the so what, to filter out the noise, to eventually building my leadership skills myself. As a team, we all have a lookout for the key information out there because, of course, There is so much information out there. It's really a problem filtering out. But we have, each one of us, we have a Slack channel, for example, where we all post all the industry news that are really relevant to us and to our space. So we follow that. Of course, there's social media groups that we follow, conferences even we may attend, especially since through COVID, we were able to do so virtually. Um, there are a number of ways, and we do have to keep track, in our case, of two things, actually three. One is what are the DevRel needs out there, so what DevRel developers need. The other is developers themselves, how's the population changing, how are the needs changing, and so on. And then three, the tech that goes with that on our side. So all the methodology changes, what we can do better, how we can improve. So on all these three aspects, everything that's available out there through newsletters or social media, we just follow, and we create a filter view that we share internally. The company has reached another evolutionary milestone. And so my job is to step away from the day-to-day ops and take our research and data products to the next level of maturity. I do things that had to do with research innovation. So the architecture of our service, we have a huge survey right now, trying to break that down into more service, optimizing, helping our developer outreach team to optimize their outreach methods through profiling of our own community and so on. We have a very sophisticated survey data cleansing methodology that we have developed over the years, and weighting methodology as well. So that's, in a nutshell, what we do in the research innovation space. Then data product innovation, we have designed our own dashboard tools, so infrastructure, taking that one level up, more flexible, more customizable, and other data products that we are building. One area of particular interest to me is developer lifetime value. So similar to the customer client lifetime value that we have, I would love to apply that for developers, and have started building a methodology on that, doing my research on what else there is out there on that. Happily, there seems to be interest by many people, as DevRel practitioners now have to defend their investments, and therefore understanding what a developer is expected to bring will give them, a number to put on to justify their investments in DevRel. Estimating the value of a developer, and therefore the value of the ecosystem itself, not in terms of the revenues that the vendors are making, but going, the life expectancy point of view, is what I would really like to have time to work on. Otherwise, I have other research interests, but as an individual outside this space. What I always value is a curious mind. So especially to young people, I would say keep exploring. There's lots to be done out there. Don't be intimidated by any boxes. I don't like the expression think out of the box. I like the expression just take the box apart and figure out if it's worth having it in the first place. Yeah, otherwise keep learning and evolving. Be a better version of yourself as you move forward. Never forget the people aspect. So in all my life's mission has been to increase knowledge and understanding, and bridge gaps between players in the market. I'd love to see more people doing that.